going on, everybody? Just checking in. We've been doing a little bit of install work with our TSS 300 out here in Missouri the last couple of days, and so we've got it all put together. Everything's running just as it should be, so I wanted to give you just a quick rundown of kind of how the system works and the automation that's kind of behind it. So we've already gotten a head start. We've already filled up the agitation vessel to the appropriate amount of water that we want to start our run with. So from here, what we're going to do is create our recipe. So pretty straightforward. We've changed a little bit of the parameters just to keep the run times down since we're still just doing some demo work. But nonetheless, we have our complete cycle already set. So from here, pretty straightforward. We're just going to start the system, and it's going to start the recipe that we've created for it. And so now you can see the agitation is going. We're going to go 15 seconds this direction. It'll stop, go 15 seconds the other direction, stop one more time, go 15 more seconds in that direction. From there, the process, I'll go a little bit ahead of it just to kind of show you the flow through the system. But once the agitation is done, there'll be a short pause cycle through the system where it'll actually pause. From there, we're going to suck the trichomes from the bottom of the system over into this holding tank. Once we've filled the holding tank, we'll allow a short duration to allow the material and the trichomes to settle. From there, we're going to recirculate and open this valve here that'll recirculate about 80% of that water back to the agitation vessel. We've got a screen built into here, so it'll actually keep any trichome material that's there in that tank. It'll keep it there. Once the water has been recirculated back here, we'll open this valve and it'll actually go down here into your filter bags, and this is going to be your concentrated trichome material. So once that process has happened, the bottom and the water from here is drained and pumped out to your city drain. And then in this vessel, we'll actually automatically re-top off back to that original water level. So it'll pull from your chilled water tank here, re-top off your agitation vessel, and then it'll start and recycle that process as many times as your recipe determined. Here we have that set for 3. So what you're hearing now is the vacuum being pulled over in our fill vessel. We don't use any pumps or anything, pumping the trichomes out of here. We don't want to risk degrading them or breaking them down at all. So we pull a vacuum, it'll actually suck the water in that trichome solution over into there, and that's where we'll allow it to settle. So that normally takes about 2-3 minutes for the solution to get drained from the bottom of our agitation vessel over into the holding tank. While we're waiting from there, once the agitation vessel has actually been re-topped off, so once we're done sucking that trichome solution over, as I mentioned, we'll actually automatically actuate these valves and re-top off the agitation vessel. So it'll be just a minute or so here, but once that happens, I'll make sure to point that out. Yep, back is being pulled. The water level continues to drop here in the agitation tank. Now we're allowing that solution to settle. Here we only have it set to 10 seconds, but now we're recirculating that water. It's coming from here and coming back into our tank here. I'd mentioned this before. Here with this recirculated water, we've got a micron screen here on here in this junction, which basically is going to make sure that we're only recirculating the water. We're keeping all the trichomes and that material here in this tank regardless. The idea is just not to send so much water through the filter bags to make sure that's not going to be a bottleneck here in the process. So this water should just about be done coming in here into this tank, and then that's when you're going to see the bottom portion of this tank be drained down here into our filter bags. Looks to be about done. This valve here actuates, turns off. This one opens up. While we're gravity draining the trichomes, concentrated trichome solution here into this tank, we're also pumping out the bottom in the drain tank here out into your city drain. So all that's kind of happening in line. From here, when that tank's done, that valve will shut off. This one will actually pop open over here, and this is what's going to add fresh 2-degree water back to our agitation vessel, and then we'll go through that whole cycle 2 more times in this instance before it'll go through the end drain phase. So that's what we just heard. This cycled on here, adding fresh 2-degree water back to our agitation vessel to re-top it off, and then we'll start all that cycle over again. Just wanted to give you guys a quick little walkthrough. This is our new TSS 300 ice water extraction system. So